So I saw something online that
Mm-hmm.
I will do. I know like Christmas just passed, the holidays are gone. But they will come again. And I
Mm-hmm.
have a good idea for Christmas gifts for my family that they're just totally gonna hate.
What is it? I can't wait to hear this.
So I saw this on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So you take a canvas,
Mm-hmm.
you put some paint on it,
Mm-hmm.
like blobs of paint.
Mm-hmm.
You put it in a Ziploc bag, and then on top of the Ziploc bag, you put peanut butter, and you let your dog lick the peanut butter, and it creates doggy art.
Welcome this week on Let's Boop Snoots. I'm Heidi,
And I'm Vero.
and we are going to boop some snoots.
We are going to boop some snoots.
Do you mind if, before we start, could I just share a quick little story?
Yes, absolutely.
So, um, I work in healthcare, so I've been busy at work every day, whereas my husband works in education, so is home all day with both of our kids during these pandemic times. So our part of the world is currently on lockdown. So yeah, everybody else in my family is at home every day with the dogos. So when I came home from work this weekend, my younger son Maddox said, "Oh, I've taught Gibbon how to play a new game," and I was like, "Oh, what is it?" And he said, so I take one of his toys. So we have this like red, sort of like rubbery sort of bone. So it's not like an actual bone, but it's shaped kind of like a bone.
Okay.
And he said, I show it to Gibbon. So he's like, here, mom, watch. So he put Gibbon in place. So Gibbon sits on his bed and he just shows Gibbon the red bone. And he goes and he hides it somewhere, and then he says okay, and then Gibbon comes and has to try to find the bone. So whereas before they were playing hide and go seek, so he would go and try to find Maddox wherever he was hiding, now he has to try to
Okay.
find the bone. so i said
Ooh.
so I said to Maddox, you realize what you're doing, kiddo? And he said, what? And I said, you're scent training him, like he's looking
Mm-hmm.
for his bone, and he'll go up and he'll let Gibbon like sniff the bone, and he goes and hides it. So they did it like a few times, and then my husband told me, he said, "Oh yeah, Maddox played this with Gibbon for like hours last night." So I said to Maddox, so with scent training, like what you're essentially doing with Gibbs right now, and he even tried taking the bone and like really rubbing it around where he was going to hide, and Gibbs would sort of catch the scent. You could see him like his nose hits the ground as soon as he'd run into the hallway. It was like nose to the ground and like like sniff and sniff, 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 all the way up. And Maddox like hit it in one of my boots, and he hit it like even up just on top of the doorknob, so it's like in plain sight, but like the dog doesn't know and doesn't
He'll use
catch
his
it
nose.
necessarily at the yeah. So
Yeah.
it was really cool to watch. So what I told him to do, which was always something that I found fascinating in dogs, and I talked to different people about it, but I would like to try to take it to that next level with Gibbs, is I told Maddox, so you just like in showing me just now, you just did it 3 times, and when Gibbon finds it, he's like so proud. He prances down the hallway, and the tail's just like going, and he's like, "Yeah, I found my red bone," and he's like so excited. And then he sits down and Maddox does another round with him. So we did 2 or 3 rounds, and Gibbs was loving it, like super having a good time. And I said, okay, bud. So I said, take it from him and sit and go up to him, take it from him, say, good boy, give him a good like scratch on the chest, because that's like really like excites them. And then
Yeah.
go and then say, that's it. Like go put the bone away somewhere where he can't say it, and come in and say, all done, like a sort of like a blackjack dealer, like hands in the air. I said, like, all done, like no
All
more.
done.
And I remember when talking to different people about building drive in your dog, that's like one of the ways in which you do it. So rather than playing this like scent game with Gibbon for like an hour, where it's like it gets boring eventually and you end on a note where the dog's tired or he's uninterested anymore, you end on a super high note where they're super excited and they're ready to do it again, because like now you don't, and now the next time you bring it out, they're like, oh yeah, this game I want to play, and they're like super
Yeah.
excited about it. So I sort of gave Maddox that quick explanation about that's how you build like drive in dog, and it makes him better at the scent training because when the weather gets nicer, and I think I said this before on a show, but I never did get around to doing it. But I want to try a little bit more scent training with Gibbs because I think he's definitely
He'd be
built
good.
for it. Yeah, I think he's going
Yeah.
to be good at it. Anyways,
I think I
long
said this in
story.
the last episode. Nate Schumer has a series about how to train your dog for scent training. That was
Hmm.
pretty interesting.
Maybe I'll give it a watch
Yeah.
before the nice weather comes in the spring.
Yeah. I hope
Yeah.
that's going to be soon
Oh my goodness. Yes.
because it's
Yes.
chilly.
It is Chile. We are Chile
Makes
dogs.
some chilly dogs.
Anyways, I just wanted to share that story with you
That's
guys.
awesome.
Hmm.
I feel like Maddox is really good with dogs.
Oh, he loves them. I told
Yeah.
him he could be a dog trainer when he grows up. At one point, he said
Yes.
he wanted to be one, and I said, "Hey, I can help you with that, kiddo. I'd be happy
Yeah.
if my kid became a dog trainer."
Maddox,
Maddox,
follow my dream.
yes.
Yes.
Like, you will
Oh.
become a dog trainer. It's the last thing I do as your parent. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And as your mom's friend.
Yeah. All right. Sorry if I derailed
No,
the
that's
very
great.
beginning of the show, but today we had a couple of different topics to talk about, to discuss. Vero?
Yeah, we're going to talk about dog myths.
Ooh.
What is true, what's not true, what's partially true. And how about you, Heidi?
I was going to talk about dogs' gut health, about the
Ooh,
guts.
the microbiome.
Guts. The microbiome. All right.
Okay, so we can discuss these, see what you think.
Mm-hmm.
So myth number one human here, one human year.
Yeah.
Why can't I say that? One human year. It sounds funny.
Yeah.
Equals 7 dog years.
Mm-hmm.
True or not?
Ooh, I don't know. I've heard mixed things about this, and I forget what it
Yeah.
all is. Not true?
So, not true, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
There's apparently this very complicated equation that is more accurate,
Mm-hmm.
and it adds up to the first year equals to 15 years,
Wait,
human years.
human years? So wait,
Yes.
the first year in dog life equals 15 human years?
Yes.
What? Okay.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Who knows? This
Yeah.
is just what I found.
Yes.
I guess it kind of makes sense. The
Mm-hmm.
second year equals to 9.
Okay.
And they say by the time your dog is 2, he's considered an adult.
Oh, that's why
An
it's
adult.
like, yes,
I can't talk today.
an adult.
An adult. And then the third year equals to 4 years. And then it's 4 years for like the fourth year and then the fifth year. And then after the sixth year, the aging process speeds up again.
Yeah.
And then they're considered elderly when they're 8.
See, it's funny that you say that because my Becky looks so old. She's like, I'm noticing it just like in this past year, and she's about 9 or 10. Again, we didn't know exactly what her age was. The rescue couldn't tell us, but they guessed at around like a year when we got her, which would put her at like 9 or 10. But I keep thinking that she's older because of the way that she's acting, and she's like graying in the face and like all of that.
Yeah.
And just in the past couple of
Oh,
months, she's starting the old lady moans and groans like when she moves
oh
around.
no.
Like she'll be laying there and she's like, or like trying to stand up. She's like, ah. Like,
I feel like I already do those.
I know. I'm like, you and me both, Becky. You and me both.
Well, Wiggum, I saw a difference in Wiggum when he was about 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then his 10th year, like I saw a big difference. But Wiggum was very gray. Like his
Yes.
face was very gray.
Yes, he had old man
Yeah.
face. Yeah.
Yeah. The sugar face.
And I guess it makes sense, like you said, why like at 2 they're considered an adult, because that's that magic number that we talked about in the training, that everybody's like, oh well, when they're 2 they'll be fine, or when they're 2 they mature and like all those behaviors go away, but like not necessarily. Like yes, they are mature and definitely the hormones definitely die down a bit, but it's just like babies. They say like what the years before 5 last the rest of their lives.
Yeah. They
the
still have puppy brain, that's
we'll
for
have
sure.
yeah we'll have to come up with a saying like the years before 2, the years before 2,
The
do
years
all you
before
can
two.
do.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay, number 2. Only male dogs hump.
False.
False.
Total false.
My parents had a dog. Her name
Mm-hmm.
was Cannelle,
Mm-hmm.
which is cinnamon in French.
Yeah.
She was black though. She was not
Mm-hmm.
brown.
Mm-hmm.
um, she was a flat-coated retriever, and she humped her bed. So
Ah.
false.
But see, I Becky humped Gibbon sometimes.
Ooh,
Only like a couple of times, so I don't know if like it's because it's a dominance thing more than it is
yeah,
like a male like hormonal thing. It's a way to show dominance.
yep,
Dogs humping
exactly.
is so embarrassing too. Oh, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Scraps, when we had Scraps, he would pick like seriously, like he only humped like you could count on like your hand how many times he humped, but it was always like a certain individual, and like he would attack, like hump attack them. Like I can remember like one of Matt's friends came over,
Oh
and
no.
like from the second he walked in the door, Scraps was like, "Yep, this guy's my hump machine," and like went over, and we were like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." Yes, humping is an embarrassing behavior.
Wiggum had a routine. Which is funny. He had his food. He ate his
Hmm.
food, like he inhaled it,
Yeah.
licked the floor,
Hmm.
like pretty much the whole floor. And then humped his bed.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's
Weird, eh?
funny. Would he go to
What
sleep
a
after?
weirdo.
Yeah.
What's that?
Would he go to sleep after that? Was it like his bedtime routine? Was it
It
like
was like his post
eat,
eating routine. Yeah.
eat, clean, hump, nap?
Drink
Oh,
water.
dogs are weird. Yep, dogs are weird.
Okay, number 3. Dogs are colorblind.
Oh, I don't know.
Hmm. Are they?
Ah, ah,
Do you think they
no,
see black and white?
no. I would say false.
Correct. False.
Yay!
They do see color partially,
Hmm.
so they see blue, yellow, and gray.
Oh,
Yeah.
huh.
And I think cats it's gray, yellow, and green,
Oh.
but
So
yeah.
blue, yellow, and gray, you say?
Yeah, in a much like lower spectrum, like not
Yeah. Not
many
like
like
bright.
colors of yellow and
Yeah. I wonder if like people know that and use that in their training somehow. You know, like
yeah,
in
I don't know. I think maybe they can see movement better,
yeah.
you think? I don't know.
Zipper.
Okay, number 4. Certain dog breeds are hypoallergenic because of their fur.
True.
So apparently this is false,
What?
and I think it's the word hypoallergenic because all dogs have a certain like shed allergens.
Oh, okay.
So
Like
they can't really
dander.
be considered hypoallergenic.
Hmm.
But like poodles have a lesser amount of allergens. So
But
I would say this one's like partially true.
oh, okay. Because I was gonna
Yeah.
say like that's why people get the doodles, because it's hair rather than fur, right?
Yeah.
But then, like, when you talk to people who actually have the allergies, I think it's more about the dander that's involved. So I wonder if
Hmm.
maybe it's just like less, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
And then when you think about doodles, especially like the first like generation, like the F1, where you breed like an actual like golden retriever and a poodle.
Mm-hmm.
instead of like a doodle and another poodle.
Yes.
You don't know if there's going to be more of the golden retriever in it or the poodle, so it's hard to say how
I
how hypoallergenic they're going to be.
I wonder like how scientific certain breeders get with this. Like I wonder like if they actually like do blood tests, the genetic testing, like the tests that are out there where you can like send in
Yeah,
like your dog's DNA to find out what breed they are. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know how I feel about all of that. But
Mm,
yeah, I wonder if they're
yeah.
like, I wonder like when you say like the first like the F1 standard, like you take a golden retriever and you take a poodle, I wonder if they test the DNA afterwards to be like
Yeah. Well, I
how
guess it would be
much
like 50-50.
how
But then
much
if you take a 50-50 doodle and then you breed it with another poodle, that's 100%, then I guess you would have like 25-75.
But see, is the
I don't
science that
know.
exact though in the
I don't
puppies?
know.
Or is like each puppy, like some of them like 20, like, 60, maybe you get a 60-40 in this puppy, but you get like
Maybe.
a fitty in this puppy.
Fitty fitty.
You call them 50 cent, 50
Yeah, no, I
cent.
don't know.
Oh, I wish I
I feel
could
like
just
those
like
would be
spend all
very
day.
expensive puppies.
I wish we had a TV show where we could like legit like interview different people.
Yeah. I'm
The more
just
I
going to
look
call
up
this
on this
person and
stuff,
ask them.
yeah, call them up. I'm sure they're bored. I'm sure they'd talk to us. Say we should just start cold calling like some of these people and seeing if they pick up.
Surprise! You're on Let's Boop Snoots.
Yeah, by the way, we podcasting, but yeah, that'd be funny.
Alrighty. Number 6. A
Okay,
dog's mouth is cleaner than a human mouth.
false.
Correct. So they have pretty much the same number of bacteria, different types of bacteria. But no, a dog's mouth is not cleaner than a human mouth.
See, I can remember. And so one of my first jobs was working as a nurse in a prison, and whenever we would get like new admissions, you, they would all the officers would laugh at the ones that tried to run away from the police dogs because they would come in with like these massive bites, right? That we would have to come and have a look at, and they were infected. Now, mind you, if a human bites you, you're probably going to get just as infected,
Yeah.
right? Because they're both dirty mouths. Our mouths
Dirty mouth.
are dirty mouths. But when you think about the stuff that they eat and drink and stuff like that, it's like it's
Yeah.
gross.
Like
But
sometimes they eat poo.
exactly, they eat poop,
Yeah.
or they just like spend like an hour having a bath, licking all their nethers, and then they come and give you a kiss on the face, and you're like, "Oh yes, I love you too, puppy."
Smoochy, smoochy.
And then you've got dog nethers on your face.
Yeah.
Mind you, humans smooch each other too, and we don't know what we've been doing with our smoochers.
That's true.
Probably not licking out of the toilet, one would hope.
Probably not. Or eating poop.
Or eating poop. No, probably
Yeah,
not. Probably not.
probably not. All right, next one. Dogs express guilt.
Dogs express guilt?
Yes.
Yes. True?
No.
Oh,
False.
look at
Ooh. So when you come home and your dog has chewed up your favorite shoes
me. Mm-hmm.
and they look like they're guilty because their ears are back and they have like the big puppy eyes,
Mm-hmm.
they're not expressing guilt. They are reacting to your body language or the tone of your voice. So they're either expressing like fear or nervousness.
But
Because
see,
dogs
like,
cannot express like secondary emotions like guilt and
yeah,
shame.
well, yes. That makes sense. And that's a perfect example of how we humanize them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do you see those videos that people post on the internet where they come home and they see the garbage and it's like more than one dog and they're like, and the owner's like, who did this? Who did this? Was it
Yeah.
you? And then like the one dog's just looking at them. And then they're like, was it you? And the other dog's just looking at them. And then they go to the third dog and he's like literally like the head down and the tail between his and again, but so how come out of the three, it's him reacting to it the most? Because
No,
he
I
did
don't
it?
know. That's a good question.
Do the other two have
That's a
enough?
very good question.
Isn't it? Isn't it though? But there was times where when we first started leaving Becky on her own, right? Like we were transitioning from crate to free range of the household, and she would find pencils sometimes. So the first couple of times when you sort of like start testing that, going to the grocery store, going out for a few hours at a time, coming back, see how they did, like good boy, like when you like after you're in the house and everything, to like you did great type of thing. But there was times where I would come in and before even noticing, like, because sometimes you can't see it right away, right? Like your kitchen's on the other side of the house or whatever. And so if they went through the garbage, you come in and Becky would have this like horrible look on her face. And I'm like, uh-oh, did you, did you do something, Becky?
Yeah, that's interesting. So, hmm.
I would question that, but I wonder how many like
Yeah.
behavioral, emotional studies there are on animals.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd be tempted to explore that a little
Okay. Maybe
further.
we'll have to look into that a little bit more. Or maybe we
Mhm.
can do a research study.
Ooh.
Mm,
No.
okay. No. Next one. Dogs only wag their tails to show happiness.
False.
False.
Yeah.
So dogs wag their tails, yes, to show happiness sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
because that's an emotion. So they're wagging their tail to show some sort of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that they're tense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, could be that they're happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that is false.
It could be that they're playful. It could be that they're curious. It
Yeah.
could be many a thing. Like it's sometimes like I'm
Could be that
sitting
they're
on
guilty. Just
it could
kidding.
sometimes I'm like sitting on the couch with Gibbs and we're having a good snuggle and I swear he's like fast asleep and my husband will walk into the room and he doesn't even have to say anything and Gibbon's little nubbin goes brrrr.
Aw.
So I don't know if like he smells him, like he's like, I know he's here and this
Aw,
makes me
cute.
happy, but the little nubbins goes faux show.
Gibbon's nubbin.
Gibbon's nubbins.
Okay, next one. A warm and dry nose means that your dog has an illness, that your dog is sick.
False.
It's partially true.
I was gonna say it's partially true because
Yeah, but it's
it could
not
be a
enough
couple of different things.
information
Yeah,
to
it
you
is like
can't rely on that.
it's one symptom of like many
Yes. So if
other
your
things.
dog is lethargic or has a fever
Mm-hmm.
and has a dry and warm nose, then yes, maybe. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's just that, like if they were just sleeping and
Mm-hmm.
their nose is dry, then that's normal. Or if they're outside and it's a warm day,
Mm-hmm.
their little nose might be their snoot,
Their snoot.
a dry snoot.
You gotta boop that snoot with some water. Give them a moist boop,
Yep.
a spongy boop.
Oh, spongy boob. Okay. Dog saliva heals wounds.
Dog saliva?
Yeah,
False?
false.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because there's dirt in
I've heard of
there.
that before. Like let a dog like lick
What?
your wound and it'll heal it.
Ew.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's because when dogs have like a bobo, they lick that area,
They do, but like
but
incessantly into
sometimes it
the
makes it worse.
yes, that's why we have the cones of shame.
Yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes it does help because it helps like debride a little bit, but yeah, no. Do not let your dog lick
But they can't
your
control
scratch.
it. It's not like us where we have a wound and we might debride it a little bit and then we like leave it alone. They will lick
Yeah.
incessantly. Again, that's
Yeah.
why the cone of shame. Which by the way,
Yes.
I'm gonna derail again. I showed this to Vero last episode, but um, there was another Weimaraner on Instagram that posted their Weimaraner like in the cone of shame, and it was the exact same cone of shame that Gibbon had. So I
Mhm.
messaged them Gibbon's cone of shame and said who wore it better, and we had a good laugh.
That's
But
so cute.
yes, the cone of shame because saliva. I don't know whether it has to do with the saliva or again, like their tongue, like yeah, debriding a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But like we said, their
Youch.
mouths are gross, so you probably don't want all that poop or toilet water in their wound or
Eh,
yours.
or yours.
Let a
Yeah.
dog lick your wound. I have never heard that. Who told you that?
I don't remember.
It's just an urban
I've
myth.
heard it before.
It's just a myth, right?
It's a myth. It's a
Or
myth.
it's a myth. It's a dog myth.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Okay, next one.
Okay.
Pit bulls lock their jaws when they bite.
True.
See, I read that that's false.
Well, have
That
I
they
got a
just have
story for you?
I read that it's just they have lots and lots of strength in their jaw and that it's just harder to pry open.
So that could be it
If you
too.
can
And it
see
may,
those muscles.
yes, it's the muscle. They're one of the muscle breeds, right? You can see their big jaw
Mhm.
muscles, their jowls and stuff. So I'll have you know. So when I first met my husband, my brother-in-law was still living in their family home with his parents, just outside the city in which we live, and they still had their family dog that they had growing up named Bowie. Bowie was a border collie. She was very sweet, but she was in her elder years by the time I came into the picture. So Bowie was the sweetest little dog. She stayed close by, had good recall. She followed them around everywhere. She was a great dog. And so my brother in law, Chris, was going outside in front of the house to get something. I don't know if he was getting something out of the car, whatever. Him and Bowie were outside on front of the house. And around the corner, and they live in this tiny town where like everybody knows each other and all the neighbors know each other. But all of a sudden, from Chris doesn't even remember where came this massive pit bull and came and just friggin' attacked Bowie and did the
Oh,
whole lockjaw thing. So Chris was like screaming because Bowie was like yelping and like in pain, like he broke skin and she's bleeding and like everything. And this pit bull would not let go. And Chris was wearing like Doc Martens at the time, and he started kicking the pit bull in the face because he was like, it was just like the high
yeah.
intensity
Yes.
fight or flight syndrome sort of thing going
Mhm.
on. So he's literally kicking this pit bull in the face and it wouldn't let go. And then the owner came around the corner and like yelled at the dog, and the dog all of a sudden just let go and then they took off. So I don't know if it's like
Wow.
a locking mechanism or for whatever reason he saw Bowie and his drive kicked in and it was again like just same thing like the dog's
Yeah, and
like in
there's focus so like
yeah, like it's like focus and
that's their
drive. It's like
focus, right?
yeah or whatever. But like that was the beginning of the end for Bowie because she just didn't tolerate
Oh.
the injury that well, and she passed away a few months after that.
Oh.
She had a hard time recovering from that one. But Chris was
Yeah,
just like so upset. Well, that's
I
upsetting
bet.
to watch your dog especially when shit like you're on your own front lawn. It's not like you were like trespassing onto somebody's property. It's not like you were at a dog park or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
this pit bull just came out of
Oh, that's
nowhere,
so sad.
clearly got loose from somebody else. This is the thing, like accidents happen with dogs, right? And anyways, nothing ever really came of it. But I would have said yes to the lockjaw because when Chris describes kicking this pit bull in the face, you think that would, with the Doc Martens on, you think that would be enough for them to release, right? Because like
I don't
you're
know. I feel like they're just so in the zone.
like horse blinders on, like they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, like the drive of it all.
The
But
drive.
yeah, crazy. So no, they
Okay.
don't. So false. They
Oh,
don't lock their jaw.
apparently they don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Um,
Hmm.
huh. All right, next one.
Hmm.
You can't, I feel like this is really just an expression, but it came up.
Yeah.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Meep, meep,
False.
meep. False. You
False.
can.
Of course you
Yeah.
can.
It might just take a little bit longer,
It does. And see, Becky
but
was older when I started training her to get ready for Gibbs, and then I was like, oh my god, Becky's really smart. And when you
So,
learn
so
like
yeah.
that, you just have to wait them out. Like you have to know how to train. And when you watch videos on train, but anyways, yes, all that to say, yes, you certainly can. And
You
Becky is a
definitely can.
perfect example.
So while I was searching these myths, I discovered I went onto a website
Mm-hmm.
that was why do dogs sniff another dog's butt?
Mm-hmm.
Like when they initially meet. It's like a handshake, right?
Yes.
And I discovered that dogs have a special organ in their nose. It's called the Jacobson's organ.
Mm-hmm.
So on both sides of the dog's anus is a stinky small pouch called an anal sac.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if those are like the glands that you need to like secrete the glands
Yes.
once in a while, and
Yep.
it smells like fish.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep.
Um, Anyways, it contains glands that secrete chemicals dogs use to get to know each other. So, the smell and the chemicals, it tells the other dog about like the genetic makeup of the dog, the diet, and even their current state of their immune system.
Mm.
Crazy, eh?
Yes, that is crazy.
Yeah. So, all of that, like their diet, their immune system can influence like the aroma of the chemicals. And they have
Hmm.
like, so in the nose has like this organ has its own like nerve system, like
Mm-hmm.
nerve endings, so that chemicals found in, not chemicals, but like the smell of like poop
Yes.
won't influence that.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy?
that is crazy.
Yeah. So it's designed for chemical communication, and it has its own set of nerves. So yeah.
That's
So other
impressive.
odors such as like poo poo
Don't
won't
affect.
influence the signals that that organ sends.
That's crazy.
Yeah, imagine if we did that. It's like, oh,
I was gonna say in your
let me smell
travels.
your butt and see
Did you
see
ever
see
see
if
the
you're protected from the flu this year. Oh, your COVID vaccine worked. Your immune system is on point.
I can tell with one quick whiff of the butt. Um, I was gonna say during your research, did you find the video where it said if like humans acted like dogs, and it's a bunch of humans like at a park, and they like run up to each
No.
other and then like run around each other and then like sniff each other's butts,
Oh, I
and
think
then
I've
like
seen that though.
it's friggin' hilarious. That one makes me laugh. That
Oh,
make
that's funny.
that one makes me laugh.
I'm gonna have to look it up. I think I've
Yes,
seen it, but I'm sure
it
I'll get a
makes
good
me
laugh
laugh.
out of it.
Oh yes, oh yes. Is uh is that it for your myths, your dog
That
myths?
yeah.
All right. So on last week's episode, we talked about the Q&A sessions that some of these dog trainers have and stuff like that, and we talked about all the good things that can be had through watching their Q&As. And when I whilst watching Evan Doggett style Q&A session, he also brought up a couple of different companies that he highly recommended, and one of them called the Adored Beast. So I've said this a bazillion times on the show, but whenever you Google something, Big Brother's watching and gives you more of it. So up on my Facebook ads and pages and everything started popping up all these things about dogs' gut health. So this afternoon, I was scrolling through the Fache book, the Facebook, and up popped this video of this veterinarian in the States. And it reminded me a lot of there's a doctor, I forget what her name is, but she's very famous in the States for humans, where she talks about, she has like the diet fads, and she talks about human gut health and the big fads that we latch onto that are actually really bad for us. And then of course has her own line of products that she can sell to you for like, just a mere few $100s, and you'll be healthy and lose weight, and it's the answer to all your problems, right? So it's tricky listening to this stuff because at the end of the day they're trying to sell you a product, but they do a really good job in the whole like selling feature. So this veterinarian, and I forget what his name was, but he told the story about working in when he was doing his training as a student, and he was working in veterinary medicine, and he was working with this horse, and this horse was super sick and like on death's door, and they had tried like everything to save this horse and nothing was happening. And somebody suggested using like holistic medicine, and everybody sort of like, you know, laughed at the idea, and they got this like sort of Eastern medicine guy to come in, and he concocted some sort of like thing, and lo and behold, the horse came back to perfect health and was
Woo!
roaming free in the fields and stuff. And so he thought to himself, this can be applied generally to veterinary medicine. And then he goes on to tell you about, you know, Western medicine and Eastern medicine and bringing them together for integrative veterinary health. But some of the stuff, so again, like you're listening to this and you're like, okay, this is a whole bunch of BS. What are you trying to sell to me, dude? But this video went on and on and on and on. And he was talking about how when you're talking about your dog's gut health, and again, he was very much pro like a raw food person, but he, and this is where he started saying stuff where I was like, no, okay, that like that makes sense. And I started like looking up other things as well, and it made more sense what these other companies were about as well, such as the Adored Beast. And he said that basically most people are feeding their dog kibble. At the end of the day, most people are doing that because it's convenient. A lot of them are cheap. At the very beginning of Let's Boop Snoots, we did a couple of back-to-back episodes on pet nutrition. It's confusing. It's an unregulated industry where they're all about just money making. So it's hard to make the right choices for your dogs. So you sort of have to educate yourself and try to figure it out. But when you go looking for the information, it's hard to differ between the people just trying to make a quick buck versus what's actually right for your dog. But so in this video, he talked about how some of the symptoms that your dogs have, like in earlier on in their life, seem like not a big deal, but as they age, it speaks more to what's going on in their gut and can become more problematic for you. So he talks about things like diarrhea, which we talked about at great length on the show.
Yes.
Here we go again. Diarrhea, flatulence, so like a bunch of gas passing and stuff like that, vomiting, and those sort of things. And I was thinking to myself, that kind of sounds like Gibbs. Gibbs has a very sensitive tummy. We tried the raw food thing. It is very expensive. It's hard to manage within our household. And so we went with a high quality kibble. But what this guy said is, and it's very true because I went to like look at some of the packages, is that there's very few dog foods that have some of the things that you need for generalized good normal flora and gut health, like just like us. It's why we eat the probiotics and the yogurts and stuff like that. And omega 3s and stuff like that. And that most dog foods, even though it's a high quality kibble and it has the good protein in it, it still goes through that super high cooking process where when you cook at high temperatures, it's creating toxins, and it's also cooking out a lot of the good things that should be in the food. So that's what this guy was trying to sell at the end of the day, this magic powder that you can sprinkle onto your dog's food that gives them all the nutrients and vitamins, like good for their
Mm.
health. And but he didn't just talk about that, he talked about like, yeah, feed your dog kibble, because like, yeah, raw is obviously the number one choice, but not a lot of people are taking it because of the expense and because of the lifestyle involved in managing raw food. So he talks about leveling up your dog's food. So I decided to go back to some of my people that I know and trust about what they do with their dogs and their dogs' health and that sort of thing. And so I spoke with Michelle, my good friend, and she was saying that yes, these companies are great, and maybe some of those products can be great for your food. She said, by all means, like reach out to Dog It Style Training, and because he has people that he knows that have dog treats or different things to and he talked a lot even on that Q&A session about gut health. But she said before going out and spending money on a super expensive product, there's a lot of natural things that you can try on your own. So she said, yes, if it's about the vitamins and stuff like that, if you're ever having veggies in your fridge that are going bad, especially any of the green ones, she said blend them up, put a little bit of chicken stock or beef stock or something like that in an ice cube tray, and then you can pop out a nice cube tray and put on top of their food, like
That's a
um
good idea.
every other meal and stuff like that. She talks about the whole probiotic thing, and said that you can get an organic, super high fat yogurt, and you can put that on top of their food. So that helps,
Okay.
gives them the probiotic that they need. So you can try doing that. Another thing she suggested is like can of sardines. Give them a couple of sardines like every other. So there's stuff like throughout the week that you can get that you can just throw on top of their food. And she said if Gibbs is having sensitive tummy issues, and like even like because we have him, I give him freeze dried liver treats and then his kibble. That's all he gets. Like when we're doing treats or reward training or anything like that, that's those are the only things that he has. And now mind you, who knows when my dad takes him up to the cottage, and that could be that could be my problem right there.
That's true.
But sometimes even when he hasn't been with my dad for a while, and even just like on his regular food, sometimes he has these like a couple of days where he just is vomiting and has like a bit of diarrhea. And again, I don't know if it's something because he picked up at the park or my dad fed him some garbage treat or whatever, who knows. But she said another thing that she finds works every single time, that you can buy at most pet stores, is a can of tripe. And again, just one
Oh yeah.
tablespoon on top of their things. So tripe is basically the entrails. Like picture it as sort of like the umbilical cord for a baby, like inside you. It has like all these nutrients and stuff like that, and it's super great for dogs. And she said that any time that she's had any health issues with dogs, like skin issues, diarrhea, vomiting, eye infections even, and stuff like that, she does like a tablespoon of the tripe at the meal times, and it clears it up right away because it's just giving them some extra nutrients and stuff to like help keep their guts good. So I never did that with Gibbs. Like we give him his kibble and like that's it, but maybe he needs a little bit of help with his gut health.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, I can tell you, I will be headed out to the grocery store and the pet food store to get a can of tripe. Now, she said tripe is absolutely disgusting, and it is. I've smelt it at her house and fed it to her dogs. It
Yes.
smells like a can of like the worst breath that you could ever imagine. It smells like bad breath. But you get one of those plastic lids like that people use for wet cat food to like sort of seal in the smell of it all. And that
Mm.
should definitely help contain the stank of the tripe.
Can you? I think you can freeze it,
Yeah, you can probably
right?
freeze it too.
You can probably like break it up into smaller portions and then freeze them.
You could. That might make your whole freezer stank like tripe though.
That's true.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna try the can of tripe and see how it goes. She said the brand that she uses is called New Zealand lamb tripe. But also, if you're going to try some of these products, so make sure to buy organic. You don't want any extra sugar or anything that they shouldn't be having in it. So, like again, with the yogurt, plain yogurt, no sugar. You want a higher fat content between 5 and 10%. Fat is good for them. And again, if you're going to go for the omegas, um, you can do the sardines, but again, look for a low salt sardine because you got to think of like concentrations of stuff. Even as humans, we consume too much salt on the daily. But so watch out for your doggo. Um, and another thing for omegas that actually that's not true. So sometimes we do put an egg. We'll crack an egg on top of Becky and Gibbon's food,
I heard
which
that
kind of helps.
pumpkin puree is very good for gut health. Or if your dog's
Yeah.
having diarrhea, I
So
heard that that's
I
pretty
talked
good.
I talked to Michelle about that, and she said that pumpkin is definitely like super popular right now. She thinks it's overused a bit much, so like don't go crazy like on the pumpkin, but what pumpkin is basically fiber for them. So you're giving them an extra bit of condensed fiber that yeah could help with the diarrhea, like solidify things a bit more there. But yes, pumpkin is one of the one of the I'm going to call them level ups, one of the level ups you could use. So is that pretty much, I think that's pretty much it. Did you have anything else to say?
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
So I saw something online that
Mm-hmm.
I will do. I know like Christmas just passed, the holidays are gone. But they will come again. and I
Mhm.
have a good idea for Christmas gifts for my family that they're just totally gonna hate.
What is it? I can't wait to hear this.
So I saw this on the internet.
Mhm.
So you take a canvas,
Mhm.
you put some paint on it,
Mhm.
like blobs of paint.
Mhm.
You put it in a Ziploc bag, and then on top of the Ziploc bag, you put peanut butter, and you let your dog lick the peanut butter, and it creates doggy art. What do you guys think?
Is this a booper snoot?
No.
I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like I definitely want to try, but it would be an outdoor activity for sure.
But then getting that for Christmas? Come
Oh,
on.
oh my
Who
God, that is
doesn't
so
want a
funny.
puppy art?
That is so funny. Okay, you have to do that. You have to do that.
So I do have a booper snoot.
Okay.
Yes. And yeah. So Booper Snoot, for those
Mhm.
of you who don't know, it's a little game that me and Heidi play sometimes at the end of some episodes. So we pick a product that we found online, and one of us explains the product, and then we boop or snoot the product. So boop as in yes, we think it's a good product, it's interesting, or snoot, kind of turn it down.
We turn our snoots away, up to the air at it.
Boo!
Boo! Turn their snoot. All
So
right.
I found something called cuddle clones.
Yes.
Have you seen these?
Yep. Yes, I have.
So you send a picture of your pet, could be a dog, could be a cat, and they make a stuffed animal
Replica, right?
that resembles your dog,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it
Can
kind of
you?
looks a bit like taxidermy-ish, but
Okay, I'm gonna look them up right now because I want to know. Like, can you? Do you get to choose what size they make it too?
oh, I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up. Cuddle clones, handmade replica. So I've seen photos of it, and they look super cute.
Do they?
Yes, they do. I think they look cute. Okay, no, 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 I don't care.
See, I
No,
think
back to the
they look
website.
kind of scary.
You think they look scary?
Yeah.
I guess it is kind of weird. Yeah, some of them look kind of weird.
Some of them are cute. Some
Okay,
of them
so
are weird. Did
so
you see the
this
cat?
yes, I did. Um, so this website does like more than just that. So they have like everything. Like you can even get masks made with pictures of your pet on them.
Oh yeah.
You can get socks made. You can get pajamas made.
They
Uh,
have cool phone cases. I think those are look nice, and the coffee mugs are really nice.
oh my God, they have golf club head covers in the head of your dog. That's funny.
Oh, that's too funny.
Okay, this is crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna look on the plush clone because that's what we're talking about, and I'm just curious to see how much. It can't be that much. It's saying it's $249. Come on.
I don't
Really?
know.
Oh my God. There's one that's like a little Boston Terrier, and I can't tell which one's the plush and which one's the dog. Ugh. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they
It's
do a,
like they do a good job, but it's almost too much of a good job.
yeah, it's like a creepy doll almost. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Oh my God, they have lots of photos here. See, but I just want to know if they, oh my God, like they're so similar, some of them. Oh my God. Some of
Yeah.
them some of them aren't, but some of them are.
The rabbit. Yeah. You
Oh
guys need
yeah,
to look this up.
yes. Yeah, they have
Pull
like
out
a
your phones and look at cuddle clones.
cuddle clones. Some of them are, I guess it would depend on your dog, but this is crazy. They can't be that much money. $249. Okay. So if it were $50, yes, I would definitely try it. But for $249, I am going to turn my snoot to them.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Snoot
It's
for
tempting.
the price, and they're very realistic.
Yeah.
And I think it would freak me out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is crazy. $249. Why so much
I guess
money?
it's a lot of work.
I guess so, to make it like that detailed, cuz yeah, it's pretty, they're pretty bang on. Like
Yeah,
there's,
like the fur, the coloring.
so right now I'm looking at a photo of a Catahoula dog. So like they like, and this dog almost looks like one of those two-faced dogs. So like there's like a line straight down his face, and on one side it's like a solid black with a couple of brown dots, but on the other side it's like that speckled, like almost Dalmatian-y sort of like or German short-haired pointer, like dotted sort of fur, and they have it like down to a T. It's crazy. And even like the
There
markings
is
on
a
his chest.
border collie. Oh my god. They look
I know.
it just looks like two dogs.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Like good job the person who's doing these.
Yes. So maybe that's why the detail that goes into it is like, that's why it's costing that much money.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And that's
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna say snoot.
Yeah,
Yep.
me too. Snoot.
All right. Snoot.
But I can see why people say boop.
Yep. I can.
Yeah.
It depends on how crazy you are. I know you're all thinking, why aren't you buying one then, Heidi?
Yeah. You
All right.
crazy person.
And that's a wrap. Is that a wrap
That's a
for
wrap.
today? That's a wrap.
Yeah.
See you next
Let's
time.
Boop Snoots.
Boop Snoots.
Wow. Very
Bye.
coordinated. Bye.
Bye.